Hello, baby. We've returned.
Yeah, we'll be singing this episode. Are we good?
Yeah. Okay, action.
I guess we'll start then. Remember that.
Rolling one.
Those jokes now.
Wow.
That's what I did.
Hi everybody and welcome to episode 16 of Knights of the Round Table. Today we are discussing the 1994 film The Crow. This film is where a man by the name of Éric Desmarais is brutally murdered. He comes back to life as an undead avenger to avenge his and his fiancee's murder. And I'd like to start with general impressions. We'll start with you, Rob.
Okay, I have to say, I've always loved this movie from the first time I saw it to the point where I bought it and rewatched it and rewatched it and rewatched it, and years, 10, 15, whatever, however many years later now, I still love it, so yeah.
I watched it for the first time probably when I was 11, and I didn't get most of it. I just thought it was really cool stylistically. Rewatching it now, it's way more disturbing than I remembered, but in a good way. And other than the tragedy around it, I thought it was a great movie.
I really liked this movie, but I have to say, watching it now, I was more disappointed with it than I remember. I remember really loving this movie an awful lot when I first watched it, and then I was slightly disappointed. I think too high expectations when I was watching it this time around.
There's gonna be a fight! Okay, so why were you
But it was
disappointed?
still a really
in The
good
Crow?
movie. I don't know, it wasn't as... The writing was a little so-so. I think stylistically, the way it was filmed was brilliant. It was beautifully shot. I loved the imagery. I loved how, it's actually because my flatmate pointed out to me, she's like, was this a comic before it was a film? I'm like, I don't know. And then I looked it up and it was, and it's because it captures the essence, I think, of a comic or a graphic novel so well without actually resorting to the squares the way Sin City did. It was beautifully filmed, but I don't know, the writing was a little weak, I guess. And the music, while awesome, was all over the place. And it didn't really have any cohesiveness there.
To me, it personifies the 90s goth, grunge, supernatural genre, in that it's beautiful and it makes you think it's deeper than it is, but it's not something that you should be doing a deep analysis on, but it's a lot of fun.
Okay. Are you? Whoa. Okay.
I literally breathed in my chocolate.
That caused a reverse.
Deep analysis of The Crow. Okay, wait, hold on. It's one of those movies where you have a supernatural backing to the whole idea that love triumphs. Because, I mean, The Crow is actually not really a movie about vengeance. Yes, there is a big vengeance overarching theme, but the crucial part of this movie is it's driven by love. I mean, he loved his wife so much that he was going to come back from the grave to avenge her. So you have this vengeance, but whatever. And she comes back for him too. So.
In one of the corniest scenes in the movie ever. And you know, it wouldn't be quite so bad if the music wasn't quite so corny.
I think the word you're looking for is curie.
I'm gonna find Pantera and tell them that you called them corny, and then they're gonna show up on your lawn and be like, yeah.
I can take them.
Come on, they've got to be old men by now.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about that, not the music in general. There's a lot about the music that I love, even though it was not really all that cohesive and from all over the place. But that particular scene, when she comes back to collect him, it would be a beautiful scene. But the music is so sappy and corny and ridiculous that I was actually giggling.
It's like they had all these artists and songs throughout the movie and then forgot that they were supposed to hire someone to do a score for one part,
Well,
and then
see-
just borrowed it from a...
And at the start of the movie, because the whole idea of the Crow is it's based on what they're saying Native American myth. I couldn't find the nation though. I couldn't find the nation that this particular myth belongs to. Did anybody have any luck with that?
From what I could find, I think it was made up. I
Because
don't
it's
think
so-
it's an actual myth, except for the fact that the crow is the trickster and also
Yes.
kind of does both, but there's no direct...
I think it's based on overarching themes, not any one specific element.
Oh, okay. So this is maybe why I had a difficulty. Because like, what?
Because I looked to,
I
and
don't think there's an
Nation-
actual myth.
What nation has this myth? It would be really cool if it was actually based on an actual.
Speaking of the cinematography though, and the Crow itself, I loved how especially early on in the movie, they were showing a lot of camera angles from the bird's view,
From the bird's view.
and that was beautiful. And to defend the music, a lot of the transitional scenes and fight scenes had music, but the actual important acting moments were just left to float on the basis of the acting.
No, there weren't. There was music and everything. Yeah, there was. There was.
Except for a few of his dialogue.
Like.
I can't remember. I think the one with the mother, where the really cool thing where the morphine's dripping out of her.
Oh,
That whole
yes,
speech, I think,
that's
was
right.
completely
That's
quiet.
Yeah, your daughter is on the
A
street.
lot of the time he was referencing the music, but during the actual scenes, no music. The fight scene, yes.
I just remember there always being music, and it wasn't just that it was music, because they had a lot of like the 90s grunge car, 90s grunge music, and then there was score underneath it that had it was Native American influenced trance in there, and then there was also instruments from India. I heard some sitar in there. I forget the name of the instrument, but it's sort of like a really breathy flute that comes from the Middle East that I heard in there, and there were very distinct sounds in there from very distinct cultures, and you could pick them out, and they weren't really cohesive, so I found it a little weirdly
None of those
disjointed.
things were on the soundtrack though.
No, they probably weren't on the soundtrack. They were definitely in the movie.
I agree. Even the soundtrack itself doesn't flow perfectly. It feels like a greatest hits of 93,
Yeah.
92.
No, yeah.
That being said, for the combat, it was amazing.
Yes.
And the fact that they didn't overlay the music at its highest volume when they were in another room, like in the boardroom scene, you could hear the music, but it was always background. So it was almost as if it was real music. A lot of action, if there's a band playing, they just keep it at the same level the whole time. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, okay, but it's not really real. But I don't think any of his important speeches throughout the movie had dialogue. So when he interacted with the cop, or with the little girl, or with the mother, there was no music going on.
I'm trying to think. There was one scene. Didn't have Eric Draven in it. It was when the Crow and Sarah were talking about somebody not being able to come back from the dead. You could hear Eric's guitar in the background.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was
I really appreciated that about the movie.
That was a really nice addition to the movie, because the comic was, he was something else. Like he was an IT expert or an
Oh,
office
really? He
worker.
wasn't a rock
He
star.
wasn't a musician.
Oh, that's so very 90s though.
Yeah.
The whole,
It was
like,
just
rock star.
perfectly fit for the era and
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. Okay.
You mentioned that the writing was uneven. I agree for the overall storyline, but the symbolism and Eric's dialogue. Everyone else's dialogue was kind of off, but Eric's dialogue was really well thought out.
No.
Really?
No.
I thought it was very, like, poignant for every single thing he said, or really action star cheesy, but with a little pain behind it.
Yeah, there was a lot of sort of action star cheesy, which is what I was kind of disappointed in, because I'm going to say Underworld stole the look of this film.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I found the writing in Underworld much better.
Really?
Really.
Oh, but it's so cheesy. The dialogue,
Yeah, but see, I found Eric Draven's dialogue especially cheesy in some moments. Not
But
enough
it
to
felt-
make me stop watching or go, oh
It
God,
felt more
really?
realistic than everyone else's. It's like he was the
See,
only
I
one that
found
spoke to the audience as opposed to the
The
others.
main
were.
villain was
main
by
villain-
far the most convincing character.
That does not surprise me.
Top.
Because they actually, in my mind, they represent two ways of thinking: love and chaos. Not hate, chaos. So for him, it's all about love. He doesn't even care about the main villain.
Well, he
until
doesn't care
steals
that he's
someone he
creating
loves.
chaos either.
But he doesn't even care that he's the one who called everything. He wasn't going to kill him. He was going to go back to his grave.
Completely not about the chaos at
Yeah.
all, you know.
But the villain himself is all thinking about that. And the other guy's all about love, and it shows you who wins.
As far as Eric's, cheese quota or whatever, one of the things that I really liked about the way that was done is he's come back from the dead, and he knows that he's come back from the dead. And there's two ways to take it. You can be like the super angry guy who's just going around as a methodical killing machine, which is one way to go about it. But they set the tone very early on that he was a musician and a really nice, loving guy, and he was a personality, So his take on coming back from, the dead to take revenge, he was having a little bit of fun with it, and he knew it. The character knew it.
And every death
that's how
was
they wrote
related
it.
to how they killed. So
Yes.
the arsonist was killed with fire, the knife guy with knives, so on and so
see,
forth.
I think the imagery was brilliant, but the writing itself, like when it comes down to the words as they were
He had a few
structured, I found it.
amazing speeches.
He did.
The one with the mother, the one with the girl.
The one with the mother, yes.
His interaction
I
with the
agree
cop.
Sarah,
were-
yes. Oh, by the way, that cop is my favorite. Sassy cop is sassy.
Yeah.
He cracked me up a lot.
Ernie Hudson's amazing.
Yeah. I think the cop's name is Sergeant Al or something. Albert.
I liked the little kid too.
Yes.
Yeah, played by Rochelle Davis.
She's done like one other thing, I think.
She did a great job of portraying an urban kid. The smartassery was beautiful. Like one of her best quotes was the cop was like, how do you steer that skateboard on the street? And she's like, pure talent.
Yeah.
Just like the deadpan. It was awesome.
Yeah.
She was great. But everything in the movie, and maybe this is why you felt it was cheesy, felt like if you've gone to Disney World, there's a street where there's all a city painted. So you walk down the street and it looks like you're about to walk into New York, and it's really beautiful and it almost looks real. But when you go up to it, it's cardboard, and that's what this felt like. It felt like someone painted everything black, and it was a set. It really felt like a set, which could have been the technology and maybe the darkness that they were looking for, but it was missing touches of reality that I don't know how to
Wasn't
explain.
it supposed to be Detroit?
It was supposed to be Detroit.
Yeah.
I have never been to Detroit, so I don't know if that's what it looks like. Dark.
I don't know.
See, I had absolutely no issues with the set.
Really? I found that added to the superhero cheese.
Oh, really? Oh.
I mean, this is nowhere near Punisher level. This was enjoyable cheese.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable. Yeah, I'm not saying it was a terrible movie. I just found that some of it was.
And I can definitely, I knew myself, 5 years after this movie came out, and I would have loved it. I loved the dark,
I adored this movie when it
But-
came out.
One of the things I actually really liked about it was when he first, comes back from the dead.
That was a brilliant sequence.
Yeah, that whole scene where, he's... First of all, when he wakes up from the dead, he's in pain and he's hurting. And which is something you don't really see very much in, especially the newer zombie type films.
It's almost as if they're already dead.
Yeah, it's whatever. But him, it was very, very much so, ow, coming back from the dead fucking hurts. And then in order to sort of, I guess get his powers, he has to relive what happened with his girlfriend.
Which is amazing.
Actually, the whole sequence where he's remembering what happened.
Which is a great way to give us information
Yes.
without spoon feeding it. Because this movie could have easily had the cops go, all right, well, this happened and this happened. I think it's this kingpin who did, and these groupies, and this. It could have just been two talking heads, but it was so beautiful.
It was
It was very well done.
It was a flashback done the right way.
Yeah.
So many times you see flashbacks in the movie and you're like, why did they do it like that? but this was like a flashback done the right way.
And they didn't do it all at once.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
interspersed it, and even
With
later
his-
on with the cop.
Yeah.
And,
When he was
and
by...
the flashbacks were very important.
Yes.
Spoiler.
And that they used the flashback in the final scene.
It is really important for him to feel like
Yeah.
his pain coming out would, if he had just come out and been like, "I'm Superman," you wouldn't have taken him
In a
seriously.
Batman voice.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
It's the best combination of the two, right? He's dark and gritty and invulnerable. If he came out without feeling any pain, it would have made him feel unimportant. Oh, he's just here for vengeance. Who cares about love? And it would have made the last few things not
As far as his invulnerability goes, he's not invulnerable.
he just
He just heals really quickly. But I like the fact that he wasn't just like, you know, a walking thug, because every time he got shot, it hurt.
Yeah.
And that tempered it a little bit.
Except, yeah, and also I like the whole, his connection to the Crow.
And I
That
like
was-
that the villains actually figured it out. 'Cause
Yes.
in a lot of action or comic book movies,
They're not very clever.
the villains are clever at the beginning, not at the end.
Because when they first introduced the sister, you know, the black
witch.
magic,
Technically half sister.
yeah, witch voodoo, whatever you want to call
Incest
her.
before George R.R. Martin.
Yes, true. When they introduced her, I was sitting there and I was like, oh, this character feels really out of place and I'm not sure where they're going with this. And once it was, you know, we realized that it was her job to figure out that his power comes from the Crow, then you're like, okay, now we
She
see.
could have been a really bad Asian stereotype.
Could have been, yeah.
Like the Asian witch that was happened in so many 80s movies. But they did well.
Yeah, about the actress who plays the half sister. I think her name is. I wrote it down. Micah, something like that. That's Bai Ling.
Bai Ling?
She was in. I should have written down all the other stuff that she was in. It blew me away that was Bai Ling. I have to find out other stuff that she was in. I think she was in.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
With Tommy Lee Jones.
It's an actress of some sort.
No, she's been in.
She's an actress that had so much makeup I wouldn't be able to recognize her.
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
I mean, I think her
she's-
lips went from her nose to her chin in this movie.
Yeah, well, like the typical stark outline of the lips with the different filling. She was in Anna and the King.
Haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Anna and the King? Oh, that was a good movie. Sky Captain.
Okay, I did see that. That was
Hated that.
That was an awesome movie.
I was expecting it to be an awesome movie, and it was so.
It's one of those movies that
Whoa.
is visually stunning,
I was like,
but nothing else.
why? I'm like, it had so much potential, and
It's like Van Helsing minus the last 10 minutes. It's a
and
beautiful movie on
plot
mute,
and
but you don't need
acting.
plot.
God, she's been in a whole bunch of movies this year. Holy crap. Okay. She was in Hawaii Five-0, Magic Man, Crank,
I've
A
heard of
Beautiful
it.
Life, The Hustle.
A Beautiful Life.
2 out of 3 judges have no idea what
Lost.
she's talking about.
Anyway.
Oh, she's in Lost. What did she do in Lost?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not gonna. Anyway, she was in a whole bunch of stuff, and it blew my mind that was Bai Ling because I did not recognize her at all, even though I've seen a bunch of stuff with Bai Ling in it.
I will have to make one tiny. I might not have enjoyed this movie as much because I saw it after having seen the TV show.
I did not know there was
There's a
TV show.
Canadian TV show that was made maybe 5-6 years afterwards, and it was much more tame, obviously, and they couldn't end it like that, but it was the same concept, and I really enjoyed it. It was really part of those supernatural, cheesy Canadian sci-fis from the time, like The Raven or can't think of anything else, but there are others.
I didn't see any of the secondary stuff.
No,
Because
no,
if
no,
one
no.
thing that movies have taught me, when you find a really good movie, don't watch any of the sequels.
See, I had
so
seen the TV
Crow
show
2.
first, and I was like, they made a movie from this?
So,
Well,
The Crow 2, the TV shows, I didn't know that the comic came first.
Yeah.
I might have looked at that, but I thought it came after, so I avoided that too.
I have to say, The Crow 2 has to be the stupidest idea in anyone's concept. Because this movie was supposed to be cursed. One man died, and then 4 people were almost mortally wounded on set.
Yeah.
Why would you make another one? It's like an insult to the actor who
You work for
died.
an insurance company?
Yeah, Brandon Lee.
That was mean. I'm
Lee's
sorry,
son
that was mean.
was killed making this film
Yeah.
near the end in one of the end scenes, and they.
I thought it was an early scene.
No, it was.
I thought it
Well,
was the
it
scene
was
where he
towards
gets...
the end of filming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was the
Because they
scene
shot
where he
it
gets
in-
shot.
In a different order.
Which-
Which
beginning
scene
of the
did he
movie.
get shot? Oh, right at the
Like
beginning.
when he gets shot the first time.
Oh, okay.
But what we saw was a double.
Yeah.
The actual filming shot that they had, they used it for evidence and then they destroyed it.
Yeah.
Because, well, the company, don't remember if it was Warner Brothers, they put it away and said, we don't want to have anything to do with this movie. And they wrote it off as a loss. The producer, director, and a whole bunch of other people got together, raised money, and then bought the film
Oh,
and
that
continued
I did
it.
not know.
So the production company for that film at the end was created just to release it because they said he did such a good job. It's such a beautiful movie. It shouldn't be lost.
Yeah, it is a beautiful movie and written by the same guy who wrote the comic.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
James O'Barr, thank you for looking that up because I forgot to. All right, so out of 5.
Oh, out of 5? 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You really liked the film.
Really like this film. It's one of those game changer films for me. Yeah.
Fair enough.
For its cultural influence on all the dark gothic films from then on, and the fact that no matter how depressing it is just nice fun. You watch people blow up and they deserve it. I give it a 4.
Yeah, 3.5. And 3.5 is good. It's good.
For her, it's good.
It's a beautifully shot film. Even though I had some issues with some of the lines, it's par for the course really for a film like this. And yeah, it was wonderfully acted, even though the music was kind of all over the place. I will never get past that. It's a good film, well worth the watch, and has a cult following for a good reason. So, pick the next one. Who wants to?
I think you should. I
Okay.
destroy everything I touch.
Ooh.
It's true.
So the crack in the balls.
I have a building that you can come touch at work. Labyrinth, 1986.
Yeah! I love this movie.
Is that the one with
Bowie.
Bowie?
Yeah, Bowie.
Yes, Bowie's crotch.
The original David Bowie hater right here. If I'm on this panel, I'm gonna offend people so hard, I probably shouldn't be.
Oh well, actually, we'll put you on just for that. Okay. So next,
Do you have a
Watch
bleeper?
do we have a bleeper?
Yeah, because we might need.
No, it's YouTube. We can swear.
Actually, you might want to. You might be offended by what
I will need a bleeper. I will find new words to offend our audience.
Okay, if you liked this episode, hit the like button down below there somewhere. If you want more, hit subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to join in the conversation. You can also contact us on Twitter at SilverStagStudio. Hashtag NATRT. Film if you want to suggest a film. Same hashtag but with a book at the end instead of film if you want to suggest a book. And we'll see you next week. Bye!
Bye.
Squeak, squeak! Squeak, squeak!
I can only do this in